Last year, he was crypto's golden boy, the king. But today, Sam Bankman-Fried is officially a criminal defendant staring down more than 100 years behind bars. Jury selection for the first of two criminal trials involving him started today in New York City. In this trial alone, he faces 7 criminal counts related to the collapse of FTX, his crypto empire. Here now to discuss, 2 reporters who were inside the room today. David Gura, business correspondent for NPR. Zeke Fox, investigative reporter for Bloomberg Businessweek and Bloomberg News. He's the author of the new book and must-read, Number Go Up, Inside Crypto's Wild Rise and Staggering Fall. And Ali Velshi is still here because I can never get rid of him. Zeke, you wrote the book. You were in the room. What was your takeaway today? Take us there.
I mean, the big news was that he got a haircut.
It's true.
Well, it had to have been a big haircut. There was a lot of hair. There was a lot to be done.
I didn't pay in crypto.
Yes.
His image was key to...
Did you just say he didn't pay in crypto?
Right. The whole way up, he had this image as like the boy genius. He had the unruly hair who wouldn't put on pants, even if he was on stage with Bill Clinton or meeting with the CEO of Goldman Sachs. Yeah. But the federal court cut him down to size a little bit. He was wearing a gray suit. His hair looked, he had kind of like a Caesar. And
oh my God. I need to see this.
Yeah, he managed to keep his tapping and fidgeting under control.
Okay, but those are just aesthetics. What happened?
Today was the first day of jury selection, so about 100 people were cycled through the courtroom, and the judge was trying to, through asking a series of questions, ascertain who might be in that group of 12 plus 6 alternates during the course of this trial. There was a moment where the judge allowed, you've probably heard of this case, maybe you've heard of Sam Bankman-Fried, and you could kind of see the reaction among some of these prospective jurors when they came in and saw this very recognizable figure. There were questions about crypto. Have you invested in crypto? 2 people said yes, and they lost money doing so. So we're getting a sense of who's going to be in that jury box. There's also a really kind of important signal moment where the judge turned to Sam Bankman-Fried and said, look, it's my responsibility to tell you this. You have the right to testify. Your attorneys may advise you not to do that. It's your right to do so. If you want to, you let me know and you can do it. I think that's a huge open question here is whether or not he does it. He's been so outspoken, probably to his detriment throughout all of this. Whether or not he testifies will be interesting to see.
Ali, what does all of this do to the brand of crypto? Do you remember how everyone was piling onto this? It seemed like the city of Miami was financed in crypto. People are driving Lamborghinis made of crypto. What does this trial do to the brand?
Take something simpler, like electric cars or self-driving cars, right? People don't trust them until they've seen enough of them and they've seen people who they trust being involved in it. This doesn't help, right? Most people couldn't get their heads around crypto to start with. It was fun for hipsters and things like that, but for an investment vehicle, it was tricky. Then to find out that Sam Bankman-Fried's company was commingling its money with another company that was run by his girlfriend, whom he threw under the bus before this trial, who was going to testify against him. It just makes you understand, why don't I just stick to things I understand? So I don't think for the mass unwashed out there who were not involved in crypto that anybody's running to get into it.
Is Sam included or excluded in the mass unwashed?
He could be a leader of the mass.
That was part of his brand.
It was part of his brand. Look, I think crypto didn't ever become really big with the retail trading audience. It did for some people, but it wasn't as big as getting into stocks for, $10 a trade.
But it became big with some of the biggest movers and shakers in finance, some of the most famous people in the world. Take Tom Brady and Gisele Bündchen. We're deeply, deeply in business, tied with this. Where are all these mega celebrities now and financiers who sat shoulder to shoulder with them? I mean, there's Gisele. He was her boy. In Michael Lewis's book, he's like, I don't know. It seemed like Tom Brady was enthralled by him, really enjoyed him. They don't seem to be in court today, do they?
No, but they collected tens of millions of dollars for just saying, hey,
I'm
in on FTX. I saw Brady on stage in the Bahamas with Sam when things were going great. It was truly one of the most boring speeches I've ever seen. They're just like, hey, Sam, how do you feel about winning? Isn't it great? Sam's like,
being a winner. Now, could they really get in trouble here? Because in theory, they're just civilians pushing a product, right? If you're somebody that has a securities license, if you have a Series 7 or 63, you cannot push a product that you know is crap. But for the rest of these celebrities, are they going to get in trouble?
I mean, they're being sued, but I think you're right. I mean, they appeared in ads. It's unlikely that they actually knew that the crypto casino they were endorsing was actually having all the money stolen out the back by its founder. So I think it would be a tough case to say that Brady's the one to blame.
Because it wasn't just the product here, right? Crypto's a weak product. This was a criminal enterprise.
Walk us through what he supposedly did.
Do you want to take it or me? We can do it together. So he had these two funds. He had Alameda Research, which was a hedge fund that he started. FTX was the exchange. When the crypto industry had this downturn late last year, this $8 billion hole developed in the balance sheet of that hedge fund. And to fill that hole, he gave the blessing to moving customer money to fill that hole. Did I get that right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's assume he did that. That's a major crime. So how does anyone, and I am looking at you, Michael Lewis, who wrote this book. He's getting a lot of press for it. Michael Lewis is agreed with what David just laid out, but he's basically saying, listen, maybe he is the mastermind behind a big criminal enterprise, or maybe he's just a guy who maybe is on the spectrum, who maybe doesn't know how to run a big business and shouldn't have run a big business. Those seem like very different things, and that really sounds like you're giving this guy a free pass.
I mean, seriously, especially because the prosecution has a tape recording of Caroline Ellison, the head of the hedge fund, the ex-girlfriend. Right after it collapsed, she confessed to her whole staff. And she said, we had a meeting. Our hedge fund was going to fail unless we dipped into the customer funds. We decided, let's do it. And the staff was shocked. And one of them said, wait, who decided this? And she's like, Sam made the decision. So she's going to testify against him. He can say now, oh, she'll say anything to save herself. But they have a recording of her saying this even before there were any criminal charges contemplated.
How long is this trial supposed to last?
Till Thanksgiving.
6 weeks, yeah.
It's like Enron. They got a lot of people underneath him to turn. They don't need him at this point. They've got evidence. They've got text. They've got, he's been involved in all this stuff.
They said the discovery, if you stacked it, would be as tall as 3 Willis Towers.
Yeah.
That's a complaint from the defense office. There's so much material. So there's a lot that they're going to show at this trial.
Sounds like Trump. And in the meantime, he's sitting in prison?
He is in Brooklyn, in the jail in Brooklyn, right in Sunset Park. And I will say, just a quick anecdote. You mentioned how he looked today. He came in and they gave him an air-gapped laptop, so he's not able to go on the internet. But you saw him lighten up, and he typed throughout the entire thing. I've been at a lot of pretrial hearings with him. He seemed really downtrodden, but just being back on the computer really marked a change.
That's how he always was. I mean, he just never felt comfortable unless he was typing on his computer. Even if you were talking to him about something really serious, he'd pull up a video game and start playing.
It's so funny you say that. I've had, never a video game, but I've had a few phone calls with Sam in the last year, and every time it fully hurt my feelings that we're on the phone, and I can hear him tick away, and I'm like,
not personal.
I am no dungeon. Maybe I'm a dragon, but I never measured up to Dungeons and Dragons when it came to talking to SBF. David Gura, Zeke Fox, Ali Velshi. Great to have you all here.